Hello. Welcome to the first Wanderlusting Lawyer video of the new year 2022. I don't know about you, but I am absolutely ready for a new year and I'm feeling hopeful about good things to come. Despite recovering from COVID, my wife and I both got COVID over the holidays. We think maybe in transit back from France because we were negative when we tested before we left. But it's all good, mostly just mild symptoms, and happy to be, back on the mend and healthy heading into the new year. Yeah, so I saw a post the other day that inspired this video. Somebody was asking, is it worth it to build into my schedule an extra day in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port before starting my Camino? With jet lag and everything coming from the US, or should I just get there and get started? And, I provided my insight or my thoughts on that question. And I said, most of all, you should give yourself an extra day because it's such a cute town. I wish I'd had longer to explore it. But it made me really ponder the sleep quality on the Camino. On the one hand, I said you'll want to if you can get there an extra day ahead, and especially if you can rent a private room and get as much sleep as possible, I recommend that because you may not be getting much the rest of the Camino way. And so I figured it'd be fun to make a quick video talking about at least my personal experience with sleep quality on the Camino de Santiago. And now this video is really more geared for people who are planning to stay in albergues, aka pilgrim hostels, and shared accommodations with multiple beds in the same room. So what I found so interesting about both of my Caminos, actually, so I did, as a refresher, I did the Camino Frances in 2018 from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Santiago. And then I did the Camino Aragonés and a little bit of the Chemin d'Arles in France this past summer in 2021. Both times I had the same experience. I don't think there was a single night on either Camino that I got 8 hours of sleep, let alone more. Maybe I got 7 as the max, but my sleep quality can be defined as short nights, restless nights, not great sleep. But despite that, it was like part of the Camino magic that I rarely felt tired the next day. I mean, it was hard to get up in the morning, but people were moving and getting on their way, so that helped. But there was rarely a day where I was just exhausted. I can think of a few at the very end of the Camino Frances. But yeah, I would go to sleep. I'd try to go to sleep at a reasonable hour, but the snoring, guys, killed me. Whenever I see people posting in Camino forums about, fora, I guess is the right word, about, I snore, my husband snores, should we rent our own room? I want to scream loudly, yes, please. But honestly, I mean, so many people snore and make noise in their sleep that if you're in a large room of several people, there are many chances that the snore is going to keep you awake. Now, I gotta say, I am so jealous of everyone who responds to these posts. No, just get a good pair of earplugs, and after a day on the Camino, you'll be so exhausted, you'll just wipe out and nothing will wake you up. Guys, how does this happen? How does that work? Tell me what earplugs you have, because I've bought the ones that have are the highest rated for decibel blocking, the foam ones. I've tried the wax ones. I did see recently an ad for a new non-disposable brand by a Swedish company. So if that rings a bell, if you've tried them, let me know how they work. I think the only other solution I can think of is I think it's Bose that makes the sleep buds that I guess play white noise or music, but I don't sleep with noise on like that. So I'm afraid that will keep me up even more than potentially the snores, and they're pretty expensive, and I don't know, I sleep on my side, so I don't know how comfortable those will be. But yeah, my sleep quality gets destroyed by all the noise on the Camino. But like I said, like this is not just me being optimistic. I've seen it multiple times. It is part of the Camino magic that you wake up and you're ready to go. And I tend to like naps and be a napper, but even the next day, I probably took a nap no more than 4 or 5 times over a course of 34 days on the Frances. I just found that like once I got showered and ate, I was rejuvenated. I wanted to go explore where I was staying or hang out with other people. So I mean, it worked out in the end, but I bet you all, if you've done the Camino, you have your own funny stories. Sometimes it's not even the snores. There was one night on the Aragonés this past summer that there was a co-ed room, typically, and not to stereotype, but typically the louder snores I've encountered have been the gentlemen. There was a woman though, who, this is a first, she sleep coughs. Like I thought the next day when I was like, hey, was everything okay? She was going to say she was awake and was, had a cough and wasn't feeling great, but she had no idea she did it. It was part of like a whole symphony of noises from this woman all night long. Coughing, talking, snorts, but like the coughing was the weirdest I'd seen. So between the bunk beds, I always try to get a bottom bunk, but sometimes the benefit of the top bunk is that when somebody's like turning, if you're the one on top, if you're turning and moving, you're not necessarily the one hearing it. Like I said, it's part of the Camino magic, the Camino fun. And I personally always, I tried to take a few nights where I was staying in a private room. But even then I would never go to bed early because I was posting about my experience, making videos, looking at pictures, trying to share experiences with other people. So yeah, all of that to say that don't go on the Camino expecting to like feel well rested from a sleep perspective after. I think you will feel incredibly refreshed emotionally, mentally. But if you're anything like me, I think for like weeks after I was sleeping 9-10 hours a night, which is not something I do. But I'll leave you guys to finish with probably even like the story that stands out the most to me in terms of sleeping from the Camino. It was in Fontcebadon. So the stop before you then walk onto the Iron Cross, the Cruz de Ferro, where it's the highest point on the Camino Frances, where people leave, the stone with them that they'd brought with them from home. So the bunk beds in the albergue I was staying with so some of them were pushed together. This was the only place I stayed that had it like this. So you were essentially like with the person next to you, almost sharing a bed. And the guy next to me was a middle-aged Italian gentleman who slept in black bikini briefs and he was a skinny gentleman snoring so loud. And at one point I woke up and his face was here. He was snoring this close to me. I swear it was like almost as if it was a spooning situation. Thankfully that was not the case, and then it was like a Camino joke. I think of the remaining 9 or 10 nights on the Camino, or 7 or 8, I think I was in his room 3 or 4 more times and I would see him and he was so nice. So I didn't say anything, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of snoring. So I would try to, fall asleep before he did. But yeah, it's just part of the Camino fun. I can't complain about it because, I could always stay in private accommodations. But I love the camaraderie of shared space. And yeah, please, if you have any other genius magic solutions for how to sleep through crazy snoring on the Camino that doesn't include telling me, oh, you'll be so exhausted that you'll stay asleep, didn't work for me. Or yeah, maybe have a few more beers or something like that'll work. But yeah, those are my thoughts on sleep quality on the Camino. Let me know if you have any funny stories about, did you sleep great? Did you sleep terribly? And did it affect you, or was it all part of the fun for you like it was for me? All right, thanks guys. See you soon. And of course, muy buen camino.